There's been a lot of conversation going on around what's up with the ratings for Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. A lot of the discussion for this show has been around the first 2 episodes of the show, which did pretty good. But when it comes to everything past those 2, there really hasn't been a lot of conversation. And I find it funny that all these outlets are trying to claim that those represent the entire picture of the show, and they don't. This is an article from a while ago, October 14th, and they note here that the show's audience fell by 20%. And I think it might be a little bit more than that, to be honest. Especially when you kind of start to look at what's going on. So Nielsen has updated the ratings a little bit. We're still weeks behind on what this show actually dropped to, and I think it's going to drop to a big number. But we can take a look at some stuff. Netflix was throwing shade at Amazon and HBO Max when they were praising their Dahmer ratings, which is impressive, to be honest. Cobra Kai also doing really well. What's impressive about Cobra Kai, to be honest, is the fact that it stays so high up weeks after it's been released. Like, people have been going through and watching the old seasons again. That's what's happening. And another thing about Cobra Kai is released all at once. They don't release it on a weekly schedule like everything else. And it still manages to stay up there at the top. It's actually kind of impressive, in my opinion. I think Cobra Kai, the popularity of Cobra Kai is brushed off, especially when you look at this chart just right here. Dahmer, Cobra Kai, House of the Dragon, Rings of Power. So Rings of Power, 5 episodes in for this chart right here for September 19th. And look at the minutes for it. It's pretty bad. I'm not too impressed with House of the Dragons either. In that show, it's funny to me that these are so close because House of the Dragon is a much better show. Look at the buzz and the conversations that show generates. They just had their season finale last night. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's pretty crazy. I think people are actually going to tune into that show every season. I think House of the Dragon will likely grow every year. Rings of Power, I don't think so. I think Rings of Power's debut episodes for season 2 are going to be awful. Nothing like season 1 was. But you can see here some more charts here. This is from the same week. We can go over to the actual website and take a look here, and you can see that Rings of Power not really being looked at as much as people want to give it credit for. Dahmer, Cobra Kai, House of the Dragon, then Rings of Power, then In the Dark, then Coco Melon, Father Stew, Lou, Fate, and El Rey. But Rings of Power, in my opinion, is a financial disaster, and you know that people over at Amazon are freaking out, especially now. So this, I just saw the other day, this is from October 22nd, Rings of Power dethroned as number 1 on Amazon. Now, let me explain something to you here. This series has only been done for like a week or so. I think the last new episode for Rings of Power was the week of the 14th of October or the 13th of October is when that last episode dropped. Now, what's funny is this show is already dropping down on Amazon's list, but that wasn't the same with Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai was actually Netflix's number 1 for a long time until Dahmer came out. I think Cobra Kai season 5 was dominating. And Dahmer's a little bit more popular than the show that's replaced. Like, Dahmer is American public is obsessed with serial killers. I'm not surprised at all that this show is doing as well as it is. In fact, I think it's going to do good all October and stay number 1 all October because of the fact that it's Halloween and, you know, he's a scary dude. Also, Dahmer has been out for a while, and it's still up there on the charts. But we have this show, The Peripheral. 1 week out, it's already dethroning Rings of Power. How come Rings of Power is it's so popular? It's already dropping down the charts? That's bad. This thing should stay up there for a while. Like, I don't think anyone's going back and rewatching it. After 6 weeks as the #1 piece of content streaming on Amazon Prime Video, the hit TV series The Lord of the Rings of Power has officially fallen from the top spot. The Tolkien adaptation has been dethroned by the latest new show to arrive on the streamer, the new series called The Peripheral. So you've already got this show, some new show, never even really heard of it, and like anything about it. It's apparently based on a book, but I haven't seen any hype for this show. So you've got this non-hype show jumping up because it's new content. Like, people are already done with Rings of Power. No one's going back and rewatching it. It just seems kind of funny to me. I thought this was a super popular show, one of the greatest television series ever made. I thought this was going to stand the test of time, going to be a classic for years and years. And it's already fallen to #2, and you're going to see it fall more. Look at some of these shows. I want to show you. Ambulance is #10. That's a movie that was in the theaters. Wheel of Time, still up there at #9. Kind of surprising. 4 More Shots, Please. Memory. The Boys, still at #6. And that 3rd season's been done for a minute. The Terminal List, still on there at #5. The Northman at #4. Reacher, still up there at #3. Now that is telling. Reacher and The Terminal List, still up there. Boy, it sure does seem like a certain audience is up here watching these shows. Certain toxic audience. And then #2, Rings of Power, and then #1, this show. Now, this is interesting to me, and it's something to follow, because where will Rings of Power be next week and the week after that? The Boys is still up here. What an embarrassment it will be if the Rings of Power falls off this list, and I think that it will. I think that it will. I don't think people are going to go back and rewatch this series, because this series is a chore to watch. It is a chore to watch. So, I mean, in my opinion, this is kind of embarrassing. But that's just my opinion. What's yours? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my locals.